and namaste. I'm Namita, a social worker and a trainer.
And I am Rakshita, an autistic educator. We warmly welcome you to a unique podcast series, Daisies, Edelweises, and Irises, DEI in Education.
Despite education being a fundamental right for every child in India, statistics show that children with disabilities are the most vulnerable to being excluded from the system. Our collective vision is to enable and empower all stakeholders in the field of education. In this series, you will hear from parents, students, teachers, school management, and adults with disabilities about their aspirations and roadblocks.
Are we providing solutions on this podcast? No, we are not. Through this series, we intend to spread awareness about stakeholders' lived experiences and the latest evidence based best practices. We hope that our conversations lead to further thought provoking questions and critical reflections.
Today's discussion will center on parent perspectives. We have with us Nimrita, whose non-disabled child goes to an inclusive school in Dehradun, Ashwini from Karnataka, whose autistic child goes to an inclusive school, another Ashwini, whose child is a slow learner and goes to an inclusive school in Hyderabad, Sahana, who has a child with cerebral palsy and goes to a special school in Kolkata, and Taruna, who is a parent representative in an inclusive school in Noida. We welcome you all once again.
My first question is to Sahana. Sahana, at what point did you decide that special education is better for your child?
I am Sahana from Kolkata, West Bengal. My daughter is now 17 years old. When she was just 10 years old, epilepsy started. Actually, she was going to a normal school in Kolkata, but recurring epileptic seizure attack made her life very full of challenge. So she started forgetting everything. In a day, it took 70 to 80 times a seizure attack. So pura scenario pura badal gaya. She was very good student in her school. She stood first. When she was in class 1, it is like every day, every moment is very dangerous to her. So I stopped sending to school for say 15 days or 20 days. डॉक्टर मुझे वही बोले थे कि उसको रेस्ट चाहिए और ड्यूरिंग सीजर कोई इंजुरी ना हो जाए वो देखना है. तो क्या हुआ, स्कूल तो इरेगुलर हो रहा था, तो स्कूल से कंप्लेन्स आ रहा था क्योंकि वो लोग नॉर्मल बच्चे को रखते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम अगर हो जाता है बोलते हैं कि ठीक करके फिर स्कूल स्टार्ट करो. हम उसको समझ मतलब आई कुडंट कन्विंस देम कि हम ये जो फिटनेस है और स्कूल है ये अगर एक साथ चले तो ये सभी के लिए बहुत हेल्दी होता है. फिर भी वो लोग इग्नोर किया मुझे स्कूल में रखने के लिए और उसका सीजर अटैक भी बढ़ता गया तो मुझे स्टॉप करना ही पड़ा. फिर इन 2013 हम बहुत जगह शिफ्ट किए, उसका फिजिकल जो प्रॉब्लम्स था इसीलिए थेरेपी वगैरह के लिए एक जगह से दूसरे जगह से तीसरे जगह, पर एक प्रॉपर स्कूलिंग नहीं मिल रहा था और साथ में उसका सीजर का मेडिसिन का साइड इफेक्ट से वो और भी भूलता जाए. एक दिन सुबह वो नींद से उठा तो वो मुझे पहचान नहीं पाया, बाथरूम ढूंढ नहीं पाया. तो ये सिचुएशन एजुकेशन से ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट था कंट्रोल करना, तो इसीलिए हम स्टॉप किया स्कूल भेजना और 1-1.5 साल तक उसका घर में ही ट्रीटमेंट हुआ. मेडिसिन वो एडजस्ट नहीं हो पा रहा था. कभी ये मेडिसिन चल रहा है तो उससे सीजर ज्यादा हो रहा है, कम हो रहा है, ये सब एडजस्ट करते करते 1-1.5 साल लग गया. तो 2014 में जाके ये कंट्रोल में आया। से दिन में 3 बार हो रहा था, तभी मुझे लग रहा था बाप रे बहुत कुछ हो गया। तो ऐसे ऐसे करके इन 2014 एंड ये पूरा कंट्रोल में आया। दिन में एक बार भी सीजर नहीं हुआ। तो मुझे लगा कि हाँ, अभी बाहर जाना, बाहर का वर्ल्ड से फिर से शुरू होना है। फिर हम फिर से जो स्कूल में वो थे वहीं पे गए, तो वो लोग इग्नोर किया, बोला हम ले नहीं सकते। फिर लोकल वो बच्चों का प्ले स्कूल वो सब में दे रहे थे, पर लग रहा था कि ये प्रॉपर नहीं हो रहा है और कुछ ज्यादा चाहिए। तो इसीलिए हम बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट में गए, फिर आए तारातला के पास इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सेरिब्रल पॉलिसी। वहां पे जब आए तो हम देखा, जो बहुत पहले मुझे अच्छा लगा, जो वो है वो एक्सेप्टेंस जो है जिसका, वो तो है, इसके साथ कैसे जाना है यही हम लोगों को देखना है। हम लोग तो 24 आवर्स डील कर रहे हैं, हमको तो पता है ये क्या प्रॉब्लम है, पर कैसे जाए इसको लेके, कौन सा रास्ता खुला मिलेगा, वही तो देखना है। तो ये मुझे इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सेरिब्रल पॉलिसी में आके ये रास्ता मुझे मिला। और हमको भी ना बहुत डर लगता था, कभी भी कोई भी स्कूल इंटरव्यू में गए तो बहुत 2-3 वर्ड्स के बाद सिर्फ रोना आता था। मुझे वर्ड्स उतना अच्छी तरह से हम बोल नहीं पाते थे, ज्यादा कुछ इमोशनल हो जाते थे। तो ये जो कॉन्फिडेंस मेरा खो गया था, ये भी धीरे धीरे वापस आया। इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सेरिब्रल पॉलिसी में आने के बाद यहाँ एक मतलब स्पेशल एजुकेशन का क्रैश कोर्स करवाया पेरेंट को। तो यहाँ का जो पैकेजिंग जो सेक्शन है, उसमें हम वॉलेंटियर की तरह काम किए 3-4 इयर्स। तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा और मुझे लगा कि हाँ, हम सब मिलके कुछ कर सकते, अगर सब एक साथ रहे तो सबका प्रोग्रेस अच्छा हो सकता है। इसीलिए पहले ही स्पेशल स्कूल में हम ट्राई नहीं किए थे, तो नॉर्मल स्कूल्स में कर रहे थे। तो मुझे पता था स्पेशल स्कूल का सपोर्ट, स्पेशल एजुकेशन का सपोर्ट लगेगा बच्चा को, पर मुझे लगता था कि ये नॉर्मल स्कूल के साथ अगर मिलेगा तो ये प्रोग्रेस बहुत ज्यादा हो सकता है। अभी शी इज इन क्लास 5, क्योंकि उसका पूरा लॉकडाउन में जो पढ़ाई का सपोर्ट मिला स्कूल से और घर का भी सपोर्ट मिला, तो इसीलिए उसका प्रोग्रेस बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा हुआ। इसीलिए एजुकेशन उसका फिर से स्टार्ट हुआ, विच इज वेरी पॉजिटिव। पर ये बहुत पहले हो सकता था अगर सब एक साथ मिलके चल सकते थे तो।
थैंक यू सहाना, आपने अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बहुत सुंदर हमारे साथ शेयरिंग की है, और जो पॉइंट आपका एक्सेप्टेंस का था, बहुत ही वैलिड पॉइंट। तो थैंक यू सो मच सहाना। मेरा my next question is to Ashwini from Karnataka. So Ashwini, how is it in Karnataka?
The good point happened to us is like we got to know her autistic in a very early stage, that is when she was like 2 years old. I think at that point we started accepting and understanding what is autistic, so that helped us a lot. So for the schooling also, maybe that gave us an idea like what it would be for her in the schooling. And now we first she was like a very shy child, she doesn't want to go with the other kids, she doesn't want to mingle with others. So when we started with her play group and nursery also, she used to sit alone and play on her own. And potty training also, it happened very late, so she doesn't know like how to tell that I need to go for toilet, or I need to use the bathroom. She doesn't know to tell. She used to pee in her pants itself. So at that point it was like okay, because she was still in nursery and playgroup and every kid has the same thing, so it was fine at that stage. But we know that this would become difficult when she grows up to her UKG. She was doing the same shows, she was not understanding. So what we made sure was like every day we used to go and like tell the class teacher or like the didis or aunties there that this is what she will do. And we used to like keep 2 to 3 different clothes for her, like an extra clothes, and make sure that to be change all those things. And after her UKG, the corona pandemic time was there, and we got like 1 year once again of homeschooling. At that point I got to know that like how exactly the kids will be taught with the starting basics of like education and all. That gave an insight like how it will be and how an homeschooling can be done. That 1 year of period was good actually, because I used to sit with her along with the online classes, like whatever it was going on, and make her understand like, see, this is what happening, this is what it's going on. She was okay and comfortable with that. But when after the pandemic, when the actual schooling started, there the actual challenge was regarding the admission and all. We didn't had any issues, because when we went for the admission, they actually like told like, of course the support will be given, you don't worry. Of course, we are happy to get your child admitted in the school. So we actually changed two different school because of the travel, from one city to another city. Both the experience was good. There was no issue. The admission and all, it went through nicely, and the staff and the management supported us a lot. But the problem there was like, they were completely like 1 year locked down in the home, and suddenly they want to like go out. And once again, it's like a panic for her to like adjust to the kids and to go to the assembly, and that started. So it was like very difficult at that point for us, because if she sees the crowd, she used to like stand there itself. She doesn't want to move, she doesn't want to go. And if like one or the two childs come and like to call her for an assembly or for the PE classes, like to want to go and play also, she doesn't want to go. She was having that kind of fear. And if she wants to go to the bathroom also, she used to like go there, sit and start playing there itself for an hour. And if teacher doesn't know that she is there, she used to be there itself for 1 hour or like playing there itself. So these things we started getting the complaints like, these are the things happening in the school. But after I spoke the same with Rakshita also. See, this is what happening, and like how to um, come across with this. I think Rakshita gave me a good idea that, see, we can. There are like so many parents who get a chance to work in the school where their child is being educated. That will be a supporting point for the child. To be like a support is there, like my mom or like a dad is there, and they will be like more comfortable. So I tried with that this year. I joined as a teacher in her school. So there, I think we saw the difference in her. She was like most comfortable, because she like thought that it's like a comfortable zone or a safety zone, and she started mingling with other kids. And I used to get like every day up to date, like what's happening, what is not happening in her classes. All those things I got to know. And how exactly these kids will be treated in the school, I got to know that also. Because she's studying in one of the international school. At the time of admission, they said like, of course you will be having a counselor support, don't worry ma'am, this was the answer. But you don't exactly get that level of counseling to those kids, that how it will be told at the time of admission. So that's not there, because the way of understanding disability or an autistic or any slow learners, the school, what they do is like, they only concentrate on like numbers. So they want the result, they want the child to be at least in any area to be like to achieve something. So that drags them and like put a pressure on the child, like they have to complete these or those things. But I think the best part is like, if a parent understands better like what the child needs, and like they convince the same thing to the management or the teacher, then it will be like a win-win situation, because they will get to know like what exactly the child is having the problem with, and like how we can focus on. And being a parent, we will be knowing that how to handle in that situation, so we can tell those things to the parents, so that will help them a lot, because they will not be knowing all those things, and they will be having other kids to handle also. How to like make her calm when she's like when she's having like a panic things, like she doesn't want to go, she used to like sit in the corridors itself. Like I told them, like, give her a time, like 5 or 10 minutes, she will come back. So that started the reflection. Like she knew that after 5 minutes, nobody is going to like make her like stressfully like drag her, or like ask her to like come or go. At that time she was comfortable, she used to like get up and go on her own. So these things will help us a lot. And but the first thing during the admission, what I can tell is, when we say that this is what the child is going on, of course they will give us a suggestion of the other alternate things also, like based on our child requirement we can choose those, like having a shadow teacher. If a child needs one more teacher, has a shadow teacher, that will also help a lot, and most of the schools are providing that also. I think that gives the parent also relaxation, like okay, my child is like monitored each and every time. And as a parent also, like we need to leave that idea of like my child is going to school means not only just to like read and learn or to like pass the grades. We just want them to be like become independent, how to face the world, how to face the environment. These things they need to learn first. So we must not force them to like, okay, you need to complete this homework, or like you have to submit these things. So these things we must not pressurize in the home. And that will like help them out to like stay calm and like go to the regular school, because they will be under pressure to complete or to compete with the other kids, then it will be like very hectic for them.
Thank you, Ashwini.
So
Uh,
yeah.
Thank you for sharing so openly. My next question is to Ashwini from Hyderabad. Your child has also always gone to a mainstream school. What have your experiences with the system been? And you yourself are also a staff at a school.
I am basically a mother of 13-year-old child. He's having the problem of dyslexia and dysgraphia. One day the principal gave a call to us all of a sudden that you need to come to the school when he was in the class fourth, at the ending of the class fourth. So she directly gave a call and told both of you, can you please come down and meet us? Okay, we felt okay, let's go and talk to the principal, there might be some issue. We went, and then the principal started telling that the child looks like the child has this problem of reading and writing. Why don't you go for an assessment? So when we went for an assessment, then we found out that he's two classes lower on his pace of reading and writing. And I mean, to brief you in clear language, as he is now in seventh class, but his reading and writing capability would match the student of fourth class or fifth class. So, okay, for me, I could able to understand it very quickly and cope up with the situation. So then, from the beginning, as in the same school, and the principal also told, no, no, that's not an issue. You can continue with the same school. This is not a much deal wherein you have to separate his school, but only the special education classes might require. So then the pandemic has come, so it was a good time for me to invest some time on him. I mean, like to give him some time and put him some classes, all those. So we have gone through the special education classes with Rakshita, wherein we have seen a good responses. I mean, good improvement in him also. But the main school, sending him to the same main school was the only thing where we felt was like, as it is a very reputed school with a huge number of students, every time we need to give a reminder to the school teachers or the complete team of the school that it's like a gentle reminder, Saket is having this issue, so give him that extra time during the exams. Or like his classworks will always be incomplete because as he's slow in writing, he will never be able to complete his homework on 100%, because the same thing he cannot write it on as a normal space. And then reading out the questions, or that proper thing during the exams or during the class was also a tough task for him. So I should always remind the teacher, telling that give him a read out the questions to him, read out the question paper to him, give him that special concern. these children, we cannot put them into the special schools also, because their IQ levels are completely equal as the other children. In fact, they're thinking, I mean, especially what I've seen in my son is like, he gives the answers out of the box. If I leave that, if I give that freedom to him to explain himself, the concept, to put it on a paper also, he does it very excellent. But the spelling mistakes and reading it in a proper sentence would be a problem. If I ask him to put it in his own language, he does it really well. The only thing we expect from the mainstream schools, the top rated schools, or the schools with a huge number of students, to manage these kind of students with little cautious and little concerned more, is what I expect.
So lovely. Ashwini, thank you so much for sharing. And it's so true. Every child has their own pace of learning. We need to recognize that. And the fact that the schools need to make those accommodations. Even if they are the little ones, they really go a long way in the child's learning, right? So
Very
thanks so
true.
much, Ashwini. Thank
I
you.
would like to add to this, Namita.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from all the three people who spoke now about their children is that the parent was the first one to understand the child's needs. And
Correct.
somewhere they understand it very deeply. They know it. They know that the child has issues. They know, they understand those issues. Maybe they don't have a word for it until the doctor gives them the word. But they know that the child is struggling, and they still sort of accept the child for that. And that they are not able to find with teachers. That acceptance, like what Sahana said, what Ashwini said, both the Ashwini said.
Yeah.
Ashwini from Karnataka, Ashwini Nagesh, she said that is one thing that she was able to provide when she was there. That acceptance for the child, because of which the child started improving. And both Sahana and Ashwini said that during the pandemic, the children bloomed, which is a very, very interesting fact. And it again comes back to the same thing, that understanding what the child's strengths are, using those strengths to teach them in a comfortable, safe environment will help them blossom fast.
मेरे बच्चे जब नॉर्मल स्कूल में जाते थे, तब उसको मतलब स्कूल में जब वो धीरे धीरे कम परफॉर्म करने लगे, तो टीचर्स क्लासरूम्स में भी कुछ बोलते थे उसको, और क्लास जब ओवर होते थे तो मुझे बोला जाता था कि होमवर्क्स नहीं हुआ, ये परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे हैं, जो कंप्लेंट्स, ये एक एंजाइटी क्रिएट कर रहा था बच्ची में। और वो वाइब उसका फ्रेंड सर्कल में भी स्प्रेड हो रहा था। जब छुट्टी हो रहा था तब बच्चे दौड़ के आते थे मेरे पास, बोल रहा था आंटी उसको ये नहीं मिला, आंटी वो ये भूल गया, आंटी वो क्लास ढूंढ नहीं पा रहा था। तो मुझे समझ में आता था कि मेरे बच्चे बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज फेस करने जा रहे हैं। पर ये जो वाइब, इसको जो एंजाइटी देता था, वो आज तक भी ये कैरी कर रहे हैं। तो हम जो बड़े हैं सोसाइटी में, उसको ना थोड़ा आगे तक सोच के ईच एंड एवरी स्टेप्स लेना है कि ये बहुत, आज 17 साल तक उसका वो 5-6 इयर्स का जो स्कार अभी तक वो कैरी फॉरवर्ड हो रहा है, ये अभी धो नहीं पाए हम सब मिलके भी। कहाँ कुछ इधर से उधर हो जाता है तो उसको पसीना पसीना हो जाता है। ये जो एंजाइटी वो तब से स्टार्ट हुआ, आज तक उसके है। तो हम बड़े जो है थोड़ा अगर हील कर देते हैं तो बच्चे बहुत निश्चिंत होके बड़े हो सकते हैं।
What are some of the advantages you have noticed as a result of your child being in an inclusive school?
Good evening, everybody. I think there have been a lot of advantages when I think of it. So I think if I were to begin with, I think it has created a lot of awareness, right, amongst the students, I think the staff, and there's been a steady growth and development, I think, is what inclusion has brought about, and social confidence has increased. among students. And there has been a general, I think, shared responsibility and acceptance in the community. So I feel these are the main advantages. And students are more, are more sensitized towards the needs of, each other. And it gives a very strong message that schools are there and they exist for all students. And they are there to help them with the academic requirement as well as behavior if need be, because the overall, I mean, that is what education is about, right? So it's overall development of a child. So that is how I would put it. If I were to see my son as an example, he's 16 years old today. And I think since the past, since he was, I think he was in kindergarten or KG, he's been seeing me, interacting and working with students with special needs. So, I mean, just the change that's come about him, I think he is very empathetic, understanding, and interactive. So, and I think all schools, I think, which have inclusion, basically, that is what is required. I think they need to sensitize the students, the staff. It has to be a collaborative effort, right? It has to be a collaborative effort, and it has to be like, they have to be they have to be professional staff, and they have to be, it's a place where, a parent should feel that my child is in a safe place where he's going to be learning from other students. So it works both ways. I think the students learn from each other. So that is the kind of collaboration that goes about. So I think it's the same for most students who are, in that environment. They learn from each other and grow.
We asked the same question to Taruna, mother to a non disabled child who goes to an inclusive school.
My daughter is 10 years old and she's been going to this inclusive school during the time of admission. The school told us that we are an inclusive school and we have kids coming from all backgrounds and with different abilities. So we knew what we were going getting into, and my kid has been growing up with her classmates. A few of them are autistic, a few with different abilities, and she's learned to live with them. She's accepted them with like peers.
So, yes, disabled children contribute immensely to the learning and development of non disabled children. Yet, the norm is to exclude them from mainstream education. What can parents of disabled children do to counter this? And what support do they need? Let's find out in part 2 of episode 2, Parent Perspectives. You are listening to Daisies, Edelweises, and Irises, DEI in Education. This podcast is designed by Namita Singh and Rakshita Shekhar and edited by Usaid Sheikh.